All right, welcome to another edition of In Between the Pages with James Lott Jr. And I am James Lott Jr. And I'm here with somebody who I like so much. And he's in this movie that I had on this show not too long ago called Bex, season that's coming out. But we also are musicians. And he mentioned that on the show. And I said, okay, let's talk about this kind of musicianship stuff because music makes the world go round.
Yes,
And right now during this time period, I want to find out how creative he's being, if it's affecting him, what's going on. My friend and collaborator, Harlan Shaw. Hi, Ryan.
Oh, hi. Thanks for having me again.
So I want to ask you that. I mean, you think I have a voice? He has a voice. I love it. Smooth, velvety voice. Yeah, well, we got some people got annoying voices. But
well, except for I guess mute people, but
yeah, I don't want to be too shady. But the thing is, so I want to ask you. I ask everybody this just in the beginning, like, how are you doing? It's been a crazy couple of weeks. How are you doing where you are back in New York?
I'm not in New York. I actually, lucky enough, we escaped New York to work on our schoolie bus conversion.
Oh, you're doing that.
Yeah, we bought a school bus. We were working on it in PA on this land. We were in Brooklyn. We're like, we gotta get the hell out of Brooklyn.
Okay, good job.
So,
good job.
Yeah, that wasn't happening. And so we went to this like farmland on PA, and it was beautiful. And like we found ourselves as very like Field of Dreams. And there was a cornfield across the street, but it was more like Children of the Corn.
Don't go in.
Yeah, like during the day, it was like Field of Dreams. Like, isn't this beautiful? At night, I'd hear noises. Like,
exactly.
I'm going in. This isn't cool. You can stay out here, babe.
Those rats, big giant rats in there and stuff. Ugh, no, thank you.
You know, I wish. You know, for all we know, it would have been like a fucking Mormon or like some Amish guy selling shit because like it was that country. But like, I would have shot him. I would have shot whoever came out of there. I don't care. Especially if it was a 5-year-old. Like, I'm just assuming if it's it was Halloween, so there would have been an explanation. But still,
yeah, something. I don't know either. So
yeah,
you're in Pennsylvania. Okay, good. I know Pennsylvania.
No, I was. Yeah, well, then it got too cold, so we're actually in Florida right now, and that's where we got stuck. Which of all the places to be during this time, I guess this isn't too bad.
I guess not. Your weather's not that. I mean, it's like our weather in LA. We have nice weather, so I'm sure you guys are doing fine down there.
For the most part. Well, every day, like for like 3 hours, I guess it's a Florida like springtime thing. It just torrential down. It like the streets flood in 5 minutes, and it's just like torrential downpour. And 5 minutes later, it's just like rain and sunshine. And it's been like every day. So we have to like do everything in the morning before like a certain time, before noon, and like get indoors because like you will be flooded.
That's true. I know Florida. I do know Florida very well. So yes, that's very true. Yeah. So I mean, okay. So we're talking music, and I think the things I've heard from you are just beautiful. I love the stuff that you're putting together. You know that already.
And you, sir. Wow. Like, oh man. Oh my gosh. I like when I heard everything you did for Vex, I was like, dude, you should just soundtrack this. Like, this is just everything, especially like the fight music. It was like some John Wick shit. I was just like, I felt it.
Okay, so here's the thing. So folks, we came together because of Vex. He's in Vex, and so our fearless director, writer, legend, Dwayne Parker, Renaissance man, gave us each well, you want to write some songs in this movie, it's like be like a companion, blah blah. And I was like, we both were like, sure, I was thinking of something. And then I have the benefit. I have a team, as you know, I have a team behind me. I write all my songs myself. I do a lot of melodies myself, but I have a production team. I have background singing. I have people I can call on, and they make my dreams come true. And some stuff I do on my own with my keyboard. It's over there now. I guess it's over there. Then I do stuff of my own too. I put together, and I actually got really. I mean, I did the interview with you guys and with the other group. I got really inspired. I was just really weird. I was like, okay. I'm like, let's see what comes out. And I literally, I wrote like 8 songs in like 2 days. This came out of me, and I was inspired by it. But thank you. I appreciate that. I just thought I don't know. It just came out of me. That's how music is for me. Sometimes I'm a very prolific writer. I write all the time. Do you write? How often do you write?
I would love to write more. I actually have to like fight to write. When I was young, you couldn't like shut me up singing. You couldn't stop me from writing. I thought I was going to be like an Edgar Allan Poe type writer. And then when I like found singing again and found music, I was like, you know, I had already like pent up so much like childhood shit that I just like never vented about, never talked about. I was like, I had all this vicarious trauma. I was like the mother hen of like my like ragtag group, so they all came from broken homes. So like, yeah, I had to. Can you hear me? Can I hear you?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay, cool. I was just making sure. I'm so bad with this technology. But so like when I started really like putting my heart out there, it was to like, you know, kind of have an outlet for a lot of bullshit. And you know, like now with like this, you know, for a long time, you've heard all those songs. Those songs are like my entire career. Like
Good.
I made it a mission.
God.
Yeah, I made it a mission only to write like when I was like feeling it. But it's so hard only to do that because then you might have like 8 beautiful songs in like 10 years, but you know, so I'm trying to like up that ante, and I find like it helps to have like at least some kind of direction, like you said, like having that inspiration of watching Vex and kind of writing for it. I haven't seen it, so it's like hard, but like the one of the last
Oh, yeah, that's right.
what's that?
That's right. You guys haven't seen it yet. I saw it.
Yeah, we still haven't seen it, so it's
That's
like I love, like, you know, because I only have like an imagination of what I saw in the trailer, and like what I heard you write was like, damn, he clearly has seen this and like had the time to like let the fight scene play out. Because like when I heard the fight song, I was like, this is exactly like how I just envisioned all of that shit happening.
Thank you.
No, it's awesome, and I'm trying to like. I've recently been trying to force it. The last like song that I wrote that I really liked was the Birdcage one. And that was actually me writing about my character as a detective in like 1914, like on his off time playing the guitar, like what he would think about the case he was working on about this woman in trifles, like this woman who like kills her husband. Yeah. And like that like came to me, and usually when I'm in that kind of like prolific zone or like that kind of focus, like it just like comes out. I write a song right there and then. When I'm like trying to force it, like it takes me months, sometimes just like I abandon the project. The other day I was like, I'm gonna force it, because, and especially in these times, man, I'm sure it might be for you, but like there's just like a depressive air, just like kind of just like pent up and just like tense and eager and frustrated. It's just a lot. And it's like, it's heavy. And that's why I feel like that's why it's like raining all the time. It's just like depressing. And it's very hard to like break through that. My girlfriend showed me, or wife, whatever, showed me Cursed. You know, we're waiting. It's kind of hard to get married, you know.
You're like, girl, what the fuck she is? Yeah.
She's in case you hear me like flip flop, it's just like, you know, it's in that area of like, we'll say either. It's not official, but like neither of us want to take the time to explain shit. We're together. We've been together. We're gonna be together. We're gonna drive around in our home forever. Like there's no way. She can't leave me even if she wanted. I have the only set of keys.
Like, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're not going
my gadget voice. Yes. But she showed me Cursed, which oh god, I forgot who. I think it was like the guy who did The Faculty. I'm not sure, but it was a werewolf movie in like the early 2000s.
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
Yeah, you've probably seen it. I like heard about it and then I never got around to it. It's Jesse Eisenberg. Oh god,
okay.
I forget who the sister is, but Christina Ricci. And they get cursed as werewolves, and I was like, okay, I don't care if it's like heavy outside, I'm gonna try to like write. And I'm like, to not take it too seriously, I'm gonna write like werewolfy. I feel the werewolf, let the werewolf like call to me. And I write this song, and I'm like, this is kind of cool because like I'm not like saying werewolf shit, you know, there's like allusion to it, but it's not like direct. It's not like, and then her fur grew. It's very like, you know, like objective. In fact,
yeah, exactly.
So I was, yeah, exactly. Like Thriller, like, oh, cool, that's werewolves, but like it doesn't suggest it. But yeah, so I thought I was so clever. And then like the next day it like sunk in and I listened to it again. I was like, oh my God, this is Cat Power's version of a cover of Michael Hurley's Werewolf, which is a song about a werewolf. And it was like, it wasn't even funny how like indirectly, like I wasn't thinking about Cat Powers. I wasn't trying. I was like trying to just like write field off of Curse. But because I just had like no driver, I couldn't cut through the bullshit. Like the only thing that came to me was like something that like some pre-existed song. And like I didn't realize it the next day. Like, oh, I wasted like 5 hours working on this like song that I would have sued the shit out of for releasing.
I mean, the songs that I've heard from you, they tell a story. All your songs tell a story, and that's why I said there
Yeah.
are a couple of them that I really like a lot. That I was just like, he's telling a story, and it's very soulful. And when you're singing it, I'm like, there's you and a guitar, and I was like, and I said in one of the songs, I started writing to it, and I was like, I didn't expect that. I was like, oh, I think I have something I might be able to add to that, and we'll talk about that, of course, off camera and stuff. But it's just kind of like, your music is inspiring to me that I'm like, I'm hearing a story. And so you said something that's very interesting. It's almost quality over quantity.
Yeah.
The problem is your genius is not, I'm very prolific where you're just like, when it comes to me, it really does come to me.
Yeah. Yeah. But when it doesn't, I'd much rather be prolific and like have so much stuff that I can like draw from or like put together. Like maybe like Bowie like has a bunch of lyrics and he just puts it around in a circle. But yeah, unfortunately, like I'm plugged up, and I've been trying to drink and smoke and uncork that genius that we all try to find. But I've mastered the art of like partying, like the fucking Rolling Stones. Now I just have to start like writing as prolifically.
Well, it's so funny for me. Because I have a friend of mine who's on his second album. He's writing his second album, and he had said something the other day. He goes, he posted this, and we were laughing about it. He goes, I heard Brian McKnight, big in the 80s and 90s, is releasing his 20th album. He's like, what the F? I'm on my second album. I hope I have enough. I hope I can still write songs for a 20th album. I go, I know. I'm on my 6th album. And I'm like, that's an accomplishment. I'm like, I thought the first album, Ryan, I was like, will I ever write anything again? Like, it really is. I mean,
right? Yeah.
We don't understand writers. It's like, because you're proud of
done. I have nothing to say. I got it all out.
Right, exactly. It's like, well, okay. And then I remember, no, actually, I do remember this. It's funny you say this. After the first album came out, I mean, that's the album you work for your whole life. That first album, basically, I always say that's the album, So I put it out there. People are receiving it, love it, whatever. And it took me like 2 months. I didn't write anything. And I was just like, that was good. I'm really proud of those songs, but can I come up with that again?
Right.
Can I do that again? And that was actually a really scary thought at first. It was kind of like, was that a fluke?
Am I done? Yeah.
I'm sure you understand.
Yeah. I totally get like even people who like go to the extreme, like I'm sure you know the story of oh god, I forget his name, the guy who wrote Confederacy of Dunces.
Oh yeah,
he wrote this like brilliant book, and he was like trying to like get it published, and he couldn't, and like he just got like so deterred because he like put his life into it, and he killed himself, and then it later became this like big thing. And it's like, sure, you could attribute some of it to like, death, like kind of like boosting the fame or whatever, but it it's brilliant, and it really is. It's like why you hear about people working till they're like 100, and then the day they retire they like drop dead. There's something about feeling like you need to like do something, and that's why like I love the thought, and my dream is always like to be a musician. But I think like the reason I chose acting as like the main thing is because like acting doesn't like take all of me. Acting, I feel like, grows the same at the same speed as me. Like I can have a life with acting, whereas music, I feel like I'm gonna be like dead, like but if I like put all my shit into like 4 or 5 albums, and then I'm on like the roof fucking saying I'm a golden god and with like a needle in my arm. Like I feel, I don't know why, for some reason music, what I mean in a good way, in the best possible way, music soothes my soul, it fuels my soul, but it also takes from my soul, and much larger than acting, because at the end of the day I love acting is like being a social chameleon. I love like getting to know new people, talking to new people when they're cool, and like just like learning new things. Whereas like music, it's like it's entirely of me. You're hearing my thoughts, my words, my melodies, the way my heart beats, like the way my head thinks, like all of that I can hide behind a character. But I can't do that as a musician.
Wow, that is powerful. I agree with you. In the fact that, like, so, okay, here's those songs. So folks don't know this. This is shameless plug 568. I have a new album coming out, but it's actually not a new album. Okay, so on the 15th of this month, I'm releasing an album called Songs from My Dark Place. Excuse me. And I wrote and recorded these songs a year and a half ago, as I was coming out of a tragedy. I was coming out of a tragedy, and I was kind of writing very dark.
Yeah.
And normally I'm very bright, and I'm being bubbly and personally. And my songs have messages, but they're fun, and I have dance songs that are fun, whatever. But these songs were very hopeless. There was no happy twist at the end. Like I've had I have a song called "I Just Want to Break Out" for my first album, which is I was angry when I wrote it. It's an angry song set to a house beat. Just like I just want to break out and fuck you, and you get my nerves. Everybody's like, they're like, it's a happy beat, but it's actually you're telling somebody off. I'm like, well, yes, I know. That's the whole point. It's like I'm telling them off, but I did it in a happy way. This album is completely not happy. It is not happy at all. And I was very nervous to put it out. People told me, I played it for a few folks in the music business, and there's like, James, you could be a good voice. And now, who knew that right now is actually relevant, what the songs are saying. I was like, oh, they kind of do fit what's going on right now. But it's a very dark album. And I released 2 songs out early, one called Isolation and the other one, Will I Feel Normal Again? And they both did phenomenal. They're doing great. People are just like loving them because they speak to the time. They speak to the time. But I was so nervous because I could do 10,000 shows. I can go, I've done acting role, I've done all that stuff. But you're right. To release something so dark when that's not normally me, I was scared shitless.
Yeah.
I can't. What are they going to think about me? What are they going to say when they hear this? Am I going to alienate to my fan base? I mean, you think it's so funny you said that. I was completely, and I'm a fearless guy, as you know, but I was very scared to make the decision to put it out because it's me.
Yeah, it's all you, baby, and it's all out there, for the world. And not only that, I feel like that's even harder because, like, my dark shit I try to hide. So when you're saying this is me and this is me not even trying to fucking hide it, it really is like you're showing somebody at your most vulnerable, which is on top of the vulnerability of putting yourself out there to even begin with. Yeah,
and putting out music. And putting out music. It's always nerve-wracking putting out music because you think, they're gonna like it, they're gonna hate it. What are we gonna do?
You and Dwayne and my girlfriend, I finally got off my ass and started like sharing my music. Those songs weren't recorded. They were almost destroyed countless times. They had never, like, Shira had only heard my last 2 songs I wrote because they were like a little bit more mature and older and like later. But like none of what you heard has like ever been heard by even me or like attempted to be played. Like all those drafts I had to like go one by one and see if I could even fucking remember these songs. And I was able to, most of them. I have no idea how. But then like it kind of forced me. It's like, well, if I save this, I'm going to commit to it. They're old songs, so I can always hide behind the excuse of like, well, it was when I started. But yeah, now I look at these old songs that I hated so much, and I'm like, Jesus, could I even write anything? Like my vocabulary is shit now compared to like what it was. It was like high school or college professor vocabulary words. Now it's just like I'm just an old man who's like blunt and to the point, very like Bukowski, not very long-winded at all. Just like, and shit stains all over my t-shirt.
You are hilarious. All right, I know, but that's true, and I think that's the scary part for you is to say, okay, well, I can play it off and go, well, I did these songs like 4 or 5 years ago, 2 years ago, like but what if somebody actually likes them? Like I did, I liked some of the songs. To me,
I'm more terrified of that than somebody hating them. I expect people to hate them. That's like where my negative goes to. But like someone to like it, that puts way more pressure on me to like continue to do good things that they'll like. It's like, Jesus Christ, now I have a fan? Fuck. I know how to deal with enemies. Suck my dick.
But you're saying something that's really real. That's very interesting. That you're like, you put it out there, you expect it to fail or not having, so there's no pressure at all because you're like, well, if no one listens to it, then okay, well, I was right, and then life goes on. But if someone likes it, then you're thinking, I gotta replicate this. I gotta do it again.
I'm terrified. I showed my girlfriend all that songs. She loves them, and now I want to fucking kill myself. Like I have nothing fucking list to say. What do I do? I can't do that again.
Wow.
Like Yeah, it's crazy. Like I feel like any wrinkle in my being or my face or just like any agedness I have comes from life experience and then making music about it, like just actually ripping that shit out of me. So the years it took as a toll, and then like the years it took to repair it, and then just me like separating it from me, like all that cleansing and all that like kind of like reworking trauma. It's just like, dude, like it's so hard for me to even go outside and walk my dog sometimes because I'm like, please God, no one try to have a conversation with me. I can't even begin to fucking small talk with. I don't care. Yes, the weather, it's weather. Like, okay, fuck. Like, did we have to say that? Couldn't we have just like ignored each other? Like,
exactly. Just keep on going. Why you gotta talk to me?
Yeah, like did you have to? Because then like I see you looking at me, and then I have to prepare myself. Like, fuck. Hey, good morning. All right, it sure is a hot one. Yeah, it's a hot one. Like, oh, that dog is a dog. Like, yeah, your dog's a dog too. They're dogging. Okay, sir. Enjoy the weather. It's like, oh God, and then I have to breathe and like then push that back out, so I'm like not like filling the bar before like the next person like, hey, and I'm like, fuck you. Like I have to get rid of that, and it's just like, I don't know, man. It's like no one has anything to fucking say, but they all want to have a conversation.
That's true. It's funny you say it. So yeah, so like for me, when I recorded those songs, I put them away and said no, and I re-recorded an album, and that's the album that came out last year that I put out. It was much more comprehensive and more happier, more upbeat or whatever. And so I understand it's like shove it down, let's forget about it. It was in the vaults. My producers brought it up to me. It was like, well, you have these couple of songs we really like. You should put them out. No, leave me alone. Not putting them out. Leave me alone. Don't force me to do it. They literally sat me down on a Zoom meeting like this, and they're all sitting there on there going, James, you have 10 songs that are really good. It could be working. Just put them out there. Because we were saying also because what's going on.
This is a music intervention.
It's my intervention. It was my intervention. Like,
you release your music to the world now. They need to hear it.
You know, let me do something for you. Let me do a little acting for you. So James, this is your intervention. This is how your music impacts us. And these are ways you're being negative by not releasing it. That's basically what they were saying to me. And I was just like, leave me alone. Everything's fine. Leave me alone.
I can put them out whenever I want.
Yeah, it's my party. I can cry if I want to. But it was like they sat me down, and because COVID had started, so it's kind of like, should I release anything? Should I do anything? And they're like, yes. People are sitting at home. They're sitting at home. What the fuck they're doing?
They want content. Dude, people are thirsty for content.
They want content. And I want content. I'm looking for stuff. So I'm like,
that's one thing. I feel like I'm a young kid again. I'm like finally like tired of all like I mean, I kind of have been tired of like all the like the stuff that, you know, is like made to like satiate the beast, you know. I'm a little like I've had my fill of like mindless TV, so to speak, to like, you know, recover. And so like now I'm like in these like little pockets of like Hulu and shit, like watch this 5-minute video that this kid shot in his backyard. And I'm like, fine. Like, anything is better than like rewatching Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll for like the 18th time because they only released 2 seasons. But
I'm watching something right now that's really I've been watching. It's called It's Bruno. It's called It's Bruno. It's set in Brooklyn. And they're on Netflix. It's like 13 episodes. Like maybe 10 or 12 episodes, and it's like 13 minutes each. It's a man and his dog, and literally walking through. They have adventures walking through Brooklyn. One episode had me laughing so hard. There was a guy who was letting his dog shit on the street and not pick it up. So he was chasing after him, and his dog were chasing after the man and his dog. The dog's a big shit, giant greyhound.
Oh my God!
He's casting. You would love it. It's a cast of characters that are hilarious. It's very New York,
especially as a dog owner. Yeah, I have like new taste as a dog owner. I love shit like that.
Yeah, you'll love it. It's called It's Bruno.
It's called It's Bruno on Netflix. Yeah. I will totally check that out.
And he's Dominican, I think. He's Dominican, Puerto Rican, the lead guy. He wrote it, produced it. It was the whole, like you said, one of these things where he created the project, they picked it up. 13-minute episodes. The dog is cute, but the episodes are so funny. They meet a girl, and I don't tell him to give it away, but it's like, is she an enemy or is she good? Like, it's just, he loves his dog so much. He loves it. It's like, it's so good. But like you,
I love that, man.
Like you, I'm finding stuff on the inner recesses of these platforms. Like I love this show called Upload. It's on Amazon Prime.
Oh, I just saw a trailer for that. I want to check it out.
You'll love it.
It's so... It looks really good. It's a comedy though. It's like a surreal, like actual drama.
Oh no, it's a trip.
I love this like gender blending. I'm so like I've been like prophesizing about this day when like TV started like actually the content started reflecting how real life is. Like one second you'll be happy, the next second you'll be depressed and crying. Like I love that it's fine and it's happening like you said because like these like people in these trying times, these corporations, these conglomerates that have kind of soured art and a lot of aspects of humanity are kind of going under and crumbling. And whereas these like mom and pop or corporations, companies, like these production companies, like me and my wife, we built our own production company, our own, like, you know, all that stuff, because like you have to write yourself, you have to soundtrack, you have to act yourself, you have to direct it and edit it, you have to do everything yourself. And nowadays you have to show people, your demo reel has to be everything you can do, and you have to have a show. Like you have to have done it yourself, because like no one else is going to do it for you. And by the time like it takes me to say other people's words to where people really start respecting what I'm doing, like how long is that going to take? Whereas like if I write for myself or my wife writes for me, like, you know, I can be way more honest and cut through the bullshit. And and I think that's why these shows are kind of superseding and taking the place of all these things.
Great. So are you writing stuff right now? I mean, in terms of
we have been working on a few shorts.
Okay.
We're predominantly right now trying to script write and music write. So it's like we'll do. I mean, today we fucked off. We took the dog to Dog Beach.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, you know,
you're allowed.
But we'll do like, you know, because I'm like my mom was an embarrassed, like she didn't like being Puerto Rican. She tried to be white. That's why she had a child that looked like this. It was like a plan. So like unlearned Spanish for me, didn't speak Spanish to me when we got out of Puerto Rico. So like I'm making it a mission. So it's like Spanish in the morning, guitar lessons, piano lessons, and then we're like write separately, we'll write together, we'll jam together, and then separately, because like, you know, you also want time to do your own thing. Actually, I finally have like compiled what will be my first album, which is like 12 of the songs you've listened to. Thank you. Finally, like big steps going. I've like copyrighted it. This is all taking place in the last like couple of months when my girlfriend finally gave me a kick in the ass. But and so like she, you know, and so going on, like she wrote her first original to kind of be like a cookie at the end of my album. And then on the next album, like we will have written together. And so like everything is under the umbrella of Harlan Shaw, because she acts under Hedley Harlan, I'm Ryan M. Shaw. So together it's like Harlan Shaw is just like either us individually or us together. So like that band can exist like any way. Like if she wants to sing with another band or I want to, it's like, you know, it's like a swinger relationship, but musically speaking.
Without the sex. About the keys in the jar. No, it's fun. No, it's funny because
party.
I'm old, so I know that reference. So the thing I like that because first of all, I will support your album. You put it out, we will support it. We'll get it out there. I love it.
Thank you.
I'm going to say this to you. Your album is coming out right on time. It's coming out because it's supposed to come out right now. It wasn't meant to come out before. So I'm going to say that to you.
It's funny you should say that.
I believe that. It comes out when it's supposed to come out. And that's so ready to put it out yet.
I got to a place where I like gave up on love and stopped believing in soulmates, or that like that was for me. Like I thought I was star-crossed. And that's why I put those songs away. I was like, I can't look at those songs because a lot of them are sad or like hopeful. They all tell a story, and they all tell a story of like all the times in like all my lives I might have like found my true love and squandered it or ruined it or lost it or whatever the case may be. And I couldn't, like, I guess unconsciously I couldn't bear to like look at that. And it was after 3 years of being with my wife that I finally like opened that vault. And after our interview, like I opened that vault. I was like, well, I already told everyone I'm a musician. You'll go and bang that. And and I looked and like I was like bawling because like we got in a fight and it was like a big one. And like I was like, I'm just gonna play some music. She's like, play your originals. I was like, oh God. And I was like, well, if anything was gonna get me to do it, it's an argument. And every song I played was like a chronicle of like a lot exaggerated because you know it's a little embellished, but it was like a foretelling of us meeting, of us being together. It was like it was prophecy more than like in my head when I wrote them and I sang about them. It felt like it was coming from a place a past place. And like everything was like either about a compilation of lovers or about a make-believe lover. It wasn't like really from the past. It was like my imaginings of what could be based on like my past experience. But it was almost like verbatim, like our relationship and the unfolding of it. And I was like, wow, that's super creepy. Because we both saw a voodoo priestess in New Orleans separately, and she kind of like hinted we'd be together, and then we saw her together, and she was like, "Oh, you guys found each other."
No, I was right. Cool. I was right.
Yeah, finally, she's like, "In 3 years, you guys will be set," which is 32, which is now. And I'm like, well, I mean, it's trying times, but like, yeah, we have like our home being built. We have each other. We've like built this dynasty. So it's like, oh shit, I guess she does know more than I do.
That's very cool. I think it's very cool. I mean, I think, you know, it's the creative process. It's us. It's you. It's your heart. It's your gut. It's your soul. It's your spirit.
Yeah, totally.
It's all those things. And every song I do, every song I come up with, I put energy into it. I mean, I really do put. I mean, I put my blood, sweat, and tears, and whatever else into it. My sex into it. I put my you know, my age into it, or my blackness into it, or my whiteness into it. I mean, whatever. You know, my crazy hair into it, whatever. I really put it, and you do too. We all creatives. We have to be. I always feel we have to be nurtured on some level because we think differently. We come from a different place than non-creatives. We just do.
Yeah.
We see the world through different eyes that other non-creatives don't see the world, and we feel differently. We feel the world differently. Sometimes to our own detriment.
Very well said.
I've done a few things I should be doing. I should have did back in the day when I used to was. But I mean, but we do feel things. We filter it differently sometimes, and so I always have a soft spot for other artists and creatives because I just think we're not exactly like anybody else. We just we see the world differently and we react to it, and it needs to be nurtured and cultivated and supported because we're part of the earth. We're part of the energy. We're trying to affect change in some way, and sometimes we don't know how or why. But when you put a song out or put a movie out,
I think art is the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know why, or we like, because it sounds very egotistical to be like, I just feel like the universe is compelling me to do these things. It's very ego to say like, like I'm meant to like change the world with my music. But through a little bit of my music, at least for like me, the way I grew and kind of like unplugged from like the shit, it was art. It was all art. It was TV. It was The Simpsons. It was every sardonic comment on society. It was every music song I heard that spoke from the soul. Like everything like charged that. So it wasn't like one, I can't say like my favorite this or that. I have like preferred people in every category, sure. But really I try to be open and influenced by everything and objective as possible because like is how I affect change. I feel like if I can be a part of that zeitgeist or part of that wake up. So when, the next generation of like us is like listening to music and he hears a James Lott Jr. song and then he hears a Ryan M. Shaw or Harlan Shaw and he's just like, oh shit. And that like propels him and he forgets about us and like finds like himself as an artist. That's like the goal. You don't want like somebody to just forever run around like wanting to be you, learning your song list, doing covers of only you at like a place. You want them to like a kid, like a good parent. You want them to excel and project and soar way above your expectations of what you can do. I want like the reason a fan is scary because it's a responsibility. Like I don't want fans. I want like almost like children. I want these people to nourish off of like what I have to give, and then one day never bother me again because they went and screwed off and had their own life. And that's like, I don't know. I think that's beautiful. And like, I don't think my part is like really to be this like huge thing, but I still have that drive to want to like change, heal the world, to make it better. And I think art is one of the few effective ways it is, because it's hard to get two people who think differently to sit down and have a conversation. But most people are kind of forced with different opinions to sit and watch a movie or listen to a song. You know, they're forced into that kind of contemplation. So, you know,
oh my God, ringing the bell. You literally speak my language, and and it's funny because we met on the show, and we instantly connected. I just instantly connected with you.
yeah.
And now I'm getting more, as I get to know you more, I'm like, he's speaking my language. Like, you're literally, I feel literally exactly the same way. I always tell people all the time, I don't want fans. I mean, I don't mind followers or friends or people like my stuff. But I always say fans are weird, because I know I have fans, quote unquote. It's weird. But I like when someone tells me, James, I started a podcast because I saw yours. Or James, almost like you said, I saw you did a song. I have two friends now have songs out. They're doing their own. They said, we were inspired by you, James Lott Jr., so now we're doing it. I'm like, that's what I want to have happen. I want a bunch of James Lott Jr.'s out there, and like, just spread my seed everywhere or something like that.
Hey man, after you started sending me all those songs, I like jumped on my ass to like record all those songs to give you something to listen to. So like, in a way, even inspired me, man. And like, it really is.
That's a serious though.
Yeah, you know, it's funny that like I like being a fan. I think the only reason I even want to like be an artist, or like at least I feel compelled, because I feel like it's like what I need to like nourish my soul. But I also like, I love that I'm in a place where like I'm surrounded by people I look up to, and I'm just like, wow, this is a world I never thought I could belong in. And I think every artist feels that way. And I think kind of like the way to keep yourself grounded is to kind of always like feel that way. But it is inspiring for people to be gracious of what you do, and it's just as inspiring to, I guess, get to take a seat and like really listen. And I think for me it was hard to like even open up. It's because I listened to too much content. Like, how do you compete? Like who could you? And I don't even think like that, but like I couldn't help, like, who could I ever open or even close for? So it really is about like pushing yourself. And like music for me is like acting. I distinctly take everything in my acting to like feel my music, and the other way around, because I feel like that's what you need to do. There is something about both arts. I think all arts that are kind of interconnected, and I think like form this like unison of like kind of what everything is can be explained through everything. How prayer and meditation are the same like parts of your brain going off. I think it's the same thing. And like when you really look at every piece of art, because think about it, acting, my tempo is better as a musician, and as a musician I can empathize and emote better because I am emoting as an actor. And you gotta find the things that feel. And for me it's all art, and it's all like people who like speak this kind of language of art. Not like people who are like I'm an artist, like, great, you're an artist. I mean the people who are like speaking like us, who like, about energy, and isn't this fucking nuts? Can't you see all the strings that are connecting us all to each other? Like, what the fuck does this all mean? What's going on? Why is everyone acting like there's not fucking, like, this isn't all the same shit? Like, that's the people I'm interested in. And it wasn't until I had the balls to come out and start talking like this that I like met brethren. That was kind of the whole long-winded point that I love it. People.
I love it.
I'm very long-winded. Yeah,
I like to do all day. Because I agree with you. And it's funny because so like I had a friend of mine who we do other projects with outside, and he likes my music, and I do songs in Spanish too. So he heard my Spanish music, and it was like, I've always wanted to do a song in Spanish. He's Mexican. And I was like, have you ever done a song before? He goes, no. I, at this table, sat down, wrote a song called By Larlo. Wrote the song in Spanish. Okay, I said, go ahead, and I want you to sit and say this. And he read it out loud at first. He never recorded before in his life, besides podcasts. We never recorded anything. And I said, okay, I'm going to bring the microphone over, and the noise blocking, sheen. And I had all the equipment here. And I said, I'm going to teach you how to record this song. And over the course of 3 hours, his vocals were done. We got vocals done for him, and we put the song out, and it's become like a nice little hit for him. But that was because of the energy, because he and I are friends anyway. We're good friends anyway. We collaborate and other stuff anyway. He was open, he was open, he was excited, he was eager to try something he's always wanted to try, and he trusted me. And he trusted me to come up with something, and then I trusted him to possibly learn it and deliver it. And I love the song. I mean, you know what I mean? But it's like, goes to your point of we trust. It was like a bunch of things came together.
I think the biggest reason art is suffering is because it's been hijacked by a financial kind of, you know,
Yes.
goal. But the other side of it, it's like everything else, like life in and of itself. We've been taught to isolate, like you know, social distancing. What's the first thing? We're sick. Everyone stay the fuck away from each other. We were already isolating and staying away from each other, not collaborating, and kind of, you know, doing an every man for himself kind of thing. And you know, like, look, we just saw Rocket Man, and it's like, it's a really cool movie. Did you see it?
I haven't seen it yet. This is my list. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, awesome. It's like in my, you know, like I've been watching new movies lately that have been giving me faith again. Like we just saw The Gentleman. It was awesome. Like I was like, Guy Ritchie's back. Finally got over Madonna. Like, and Rocket Man was incredible. And like, you know, the first thing you learn, and I didn't know too much about Elton John. I know his hits. But it was like, it was inspiring to see this like one man show, kind of like partying like a rock star, doing all these like crazy things. And like, he's so prolific, but like he can't write music, or he even says like he can't write lyrics. So he works with a partner. And, you know, in my head, I'm like, you know, I could have been so further along if the friends I grew up with, if they were supportive. I had friends who wanted to be actors, wanted to be musicians, but every time like I try to do anything artsy, he was like, "Oh, shut up, Fag." Like that was like that Texas mentality shit. Right. Yeah, it's just like, "Oh, you sound like shit, man." And like the same people would be like, "I want to be an actor," and open up and be like, "You can do it, bro." And then I'd be like, "I want to be a musician." "You can't do it. You suck." Like those people. And like, it's so like, imagine if Elton John just did that to that guy's lyrics, like, or Bernie Thompson,
Very Toppin.
Yeah, thank you. Like, imagine if he was just like, "Oh, these lyrics suck." Like, then there would have been nothing, you know.
Right.
And instead of like that collaboration, and it's, like you said, trust is number one. I mean, I'm with like who I think is my soulmate. It took me 3 years to show her like my music. Like, trust and opening yourself up completely is not only how you make beautiful work and like real art, but it's how you save your soul, and how you can actually connect to people. People want truth, especially in a time where everything is so disingenuous. Reality TV is scripted. Like, come the fuck on. We're reading, like, we're group reading because it's so much easier than reading alone. Jesus Christ. But we're rereading Shear's childhood thing that was banned by the church, which makes it great. It's Dark Materials. It's Dark Materials. HBO just recently did an adaptation, but it's banned by the church because it's all about, like, I don't want to ruin anything, but it's all about like a false god pretending to be God, and then the church like thinking he is God. So like, his work very parallel with, like, you know, like the confusion of like, yeah, what God may or may not be. And like right now they're in hell and they're dealing with harpies, and like they want to be satiated with stories, and they try lying and embellishing to tell this like grandiose story, and they attack them, and they start screaming like, "Liar, liar!" And then like later they start like talking from the heart, and they're all like sedated and they can't attack, and they're like, why aren't you attacking us now? And they're like, because you speak the truth. And it's like, you see the people nowadays who speak like ill and are just like not connected to their spirit. Like, they're all heady. It's all like personal gain. They're robots. They're automatrons. They're breaking down the Hillary Clintons, these like old Republican white people. They're all like getting red and swollen and exploding and short circuiting and saying like racist shit and like their secret shit out loud, like a Tourette's, because they can't just, it's overloading. It's too much. Like, you can't not nurture your soul or like do what's true to you. And I think in the times now where there's these huge energy shifts, I think these people are short circuiting for a reason. It's a reason, like, you're seeing this uproar of people just showing their true ugliness. And it's just like, I mean, it's never been a secret that like people do this, but you can almost like read it on people. Like, I don't know if it's like obvious to everyone else. It feels like the they live glasses just like got put on like all energy people. Cause like now I walk and I can just see like somebody's like heart, like in their face and their soul and their eyes, and see like if they're really like living a true like lifestyle. And it's like, really, it sounds hippy dippy and shit. And it's not hard, man. Just like be true to your spirit. If like you're working at a job that like takes away people's homes, like, and you feel this dark hole at night, like, and you can't sleep, like, take a fucking hint, you know?
Right, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
I agree. Everything you said, I agree with. And the thing is, for me, I found my musical soulmates when it came to my producers. I mean, they're just, I mean, shout out to them. They're just, I mean, I worked with some other people, didn't work out. Some folks, we didn't work well together. I mean, oh my God, I fired a couple. Oh my goodness.
That's hard.
It was hard. It was really hard.
I can't even break up with people.
It is.
Did you wait to fire you? That's what I do, like with breakups. I'll just beat
Brian,
vanilla. And
I'm a big mouth. I can't hold it in. So no, it's me. It's always me saying, what the fuck? I can't, peace out, bitches. I'm gone. That's me. So yeah, I can't take, because you said something that I agree with. I'm more in tune to energy now. So if I feel something strongly, my gut will hurt.
Yeah, it's like a physical ailment. Like, yeah, totally.
I gotta expel it out. And usually when I take care of business, it goes away. And so I was like, okay, got it. So I had a couple of producers who were horrible, but these ones I've had for the last 3 years, the bomb. And we have a trust, and we just have, I can say M, and they say N, and it's like, okay, we got it. We got a song. Like they read me so well, and they pay attention to me.
Yeah.
They pay attention to my vocals. They pay attention to my lyrics. If I hum a melody to them, they pay attention to that. So I agree with you with that. It's like, it depends on who's around you. Sometimes how well and how far along you may go. If you surround people who just don't really give a shit, they don't care, and then it's like, we need inspiration. Creatives need inspiration all the time. We need inspiration, whether it's from another person or the sky or we need inspiration. That's just we do.
And I think we need validation, man. I think that's a big thing with artists. And like, it's funny that you said that. Like I saw Entourage when like I was still in the army, and I was like, there's no way I can act, and I just like started like trying. So I like watched it. I was like, oh wow, it's cool to see like another, like, it's just nobody from fucking like New York, just like some schmo and his buddies. But like I don't even have those buddies, like that Marky Mark crew that'll actually like have your back. And like it was the same buddies, the same stereotypes. You have all the same, like you have the goon friend, you have the like asshole friend, you have like the slutty friend who's like always trying to fuck every like chick he meets. Yeah. And it was just, it seems so like all I need is that trust. And I saw Ari Gold, Jeremy Piven, and I'm just like, I thought at least I could maybe find that some agent who like does care about me, even if he's like dirty, because like agencies usually get corrupted. But then it's like, no, man, I don't, especially after watching Jerry Maguire. I recently watched Jerry Maguire for the first time. Like it was on my shame list. And I was like, dude, I can't, like, I know I could like do great big things if I had that kind of inspiration. But I also want to be that guy. I want to have a guy like that for me, so I can be that guy to him, so I can be that guy for other people. Like I want to help other actors. I have a military buddy who's an artist in like digital design, animation. He's a painter. He's fucking amazing. And like everything I think to like include him with, I do, and we still talk, and we're good friends, and I want to like grow him, and I like try to give him, it's like this mentor like relationship, but it's like, I don't mean to be, I'm just like a little older. So like, I'm like where was like where I was a few years ago, he's like opening up to. And, I want that support network, and like, it's just so hard to find that. It's like, I guess I'll have to like be that for myself, or me and my wife have to be that for each other. Because like until you can find that, like those people that you just clicked with, it's almost like pointless to like even get in bed with like some scummy producers or whatever.
Right.
But of course, when you're looking, you're gonna have to like you're gonna have to like get drunk and sleep with someone you regret. But
true.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is I love what you found. I love what you have. And like, I'm very much like looking for that. And like, I feel like that's how art is going to rebuild and repair itself in these like Mad Max times. Like, I feel like everybody's going to not be able to afford homes. We're all going to be living in buses and cars and driving around the sets and just like, with our own wardrobe, and we'll like, one bus will be catering and one,
I love it. I do. I love that. I want a nice big bus. Oh no.
Oh man. I've seen people do a Metro, you know, the big, like with the fucking springy, soft middle core part so it can make turns. I've seen people deck those out. It's beautiful because they have giant fucking windows.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like they deck them out. It's all sunlight, like because it's just so much like natural lighting, and it's huge. They have like their living space in the first section and their bathroom, kitchen in the second. Yeah, they do cool things. Yeah, we have a 160 square foot bus, so it's like a New York apartment. So like we have just enough to like be comfortable without like going like that.
Yeah, exactly. When you said apartments, I know those apartments very well. I know them very well.
Yeah, exactly.
Very well. I'm very fortunate in the fact that I did find some people I can work with, and they helped me find some background singers I can work with, and there's people in my life. So I looked up, but it was trial and error. It literally was like dating. It was trial and error. There are some folks I had to like cut.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not good
this is not working out.
This is not working out. It is you.
I'm a Gemini, and you were from fucking Venus.
I love it. So I understand it, but I just feel like, you know, being creative is one of the best things. I cannot not be creative, and but I do always have that thing of I'm as good as my last song I wrote. Like I always have that kind of thought back in my head, like that's not good. Can I tell you, I'm in this business. I'm still going. Can I do it again? Can I do it again? I wrote a protest song yesterday.
Nice.
I never wrote a protest song before, and I actually wrote it called "My Problem Is Your Problem." And I haven't recorded it yet, but I did the lyrics. I showed my producer, like, oh my God, James, great lyrics. But it's just coming from my heart. It came from my heart. That was like, there's stuff going on. This is how I can help. This is what I can do. And I just came up with it. I don't know if I'm gonna do with it yet. I have no idea. But it's just kind of like but then now I did that song, so to speak, and I'll probably record it. But I'm like, can I come up with another song? Like there's always there's satisfaction in completion, but there's always dissatisfaction in general going, well, then the next one, can I do another one? Can I do another one? And that's probably why I write. I'm like, you know, I learned a lot from Prince. I learned a lot from him and other artists who they write a lot. A lot of songs don't get released. They just race. I mean, like when I did my last album, I had 30 songs ready and done. But I was going to put out 30 songs, so I put out 30 songs.
Why the fuck not? They're out, But yeah, usually like you pick and release certain ones. I'm like,
so hard to do. Oh my God.
It's so hard to do. Like Jesus Christ. Like you're trying to pick favorites of like things like you're trying not to be humble, but also like not play it's like kids. Like it does feel like, once again, like to the child thing, it's like I'm in this infinite circle where it's like I have to fight through insecurity, like should you even bother trying to be a musician? And then you finally write and I'm like, oh, I hate this, I shouldn't even bother, maybe I should do a new one to like make this one better. And by the time I start working on a new one, I'm like, will it even be better than this other one? Maybe I should just quit while I'm ahead.
Right.
And stop writing. I'm not going to be as good as I used to be. And then the fucking cycle. And then it just like, it's like literally, you know, I heard it and then a comedian said it. He's like, you know that circus that goes on your head when you go to sleep, like, you know, you're tired and you want to sleep, but then you close your eyes and you just hear like, it's like, it really is like when it comes to like battling those things, it's like, it's so hard. And it's just like, Jesus, like I get why artists are like party animals, man. There's like need to like have a substance to make you feel good, to justify that all of that feeling good is getting drawn away as you're trying to write something from your heart and you're going, you fucking suck. It's an uphill battle. It's like the mythology where what's his face? It's pushing the fucking boulder up.
Oh, yeah, the boulder up the head, it keeps going back down. Yeah. I'm like, who was that? Was it Muhammad? I can't remember.
Right. Yeah, like if you say it, I'll know it. It's like, It's like sometimes I'm like, oh man.
You see the comments, just tell you who it is. Tell us who it is.
Right. Yeah, someone will say it'd be like, it's this fucking. Like, how'd you not know he's a curly-headed idiot? Like,
like, oh my God, it's that, Ryan. It's that. I'll tell you.
Like I haven't read that book since high school. I'm sorry. That was a long time ago.
But I think it's what's funny because I'm on TikTok and I have a segment called A Lot of Spoken Words. So I do, TikTok's only a minute long. You can't go any longer than a minute. So I was writing a poem a day, basically. That would like be enough for a minute.
Oh, that's
One
awesome.
day, I had my keyboard out, And I was like, and I wrote this little poem. I thought, I'm gonna try something a little different, and just like, you know, I had a beat to it, and I hit my little drum machine. I was like, and I did this, I did it. So I posted it. It did like 1,000 views. So then the next day, I was like, well, I'm kind of inspired to do maybe another little short, little fun thing. So I did another song, put it out there, but literally only a minute long. So people were saying you should put them on your SoundCloud page. Like maybe record a longer version or whatever. So I re-recorded them, I mean, not much longer, maybe like a minute and a half or something like that. I put my SoundCloud and they did like the first day, one did 100 listens. I was like,
wow.
It was called Why Do You Make Everything So Difficult? Was the name of the song. Because I was a little angry that day. And I was like, why make everything so difficult? And
that's relatable.
It's very relatable.
I can absolutely relate to that.
I did a song called The New Normal where I'm like, mask, gloves, spray. So I did this whole thing on that. People loved it. But then I went back to do my regular, just like another spoken word. It's like, well, where's the music? I'm like, I can't come up with a song every day. I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, I get, you know, a new beat every day.
I'm not your fucking monkey. Like, I always think of like that grinder monkey that like people are just like, do tricks.
Do it. I said, it was just for fun. Maybe occasionally I'll do it. But like, yeah, we want another song from you. I'm like, I'm good, but not that good. I'm like, what the fuck? So I started laughing.
Almost worse than the friends I grew up with who were like, oh, you fucking suck. Were like when you finally like started having to like actually put yourself out there as a musician and actor. And like I can't tell you how many times I kind of understand music. I kind of understand like you grab a guitar and they're like, play fucking Freebird. Like what? Like why do you think of all the songs I know this one with like an 8-minute solo? Like
well, don't you? Like come on, Ryan.
They just think you're like some fucking they think you're some fucking robot jukebox and they're just like, oh fucking play Purple Rain. You're like, I wish I knew Purple Rain.
Yeah, for
like,
real.
I
like,
was
for real.
to do a fucking Prince cover.
Right. That's hilarious.
But I thought like, and it really deterred, like, I thought I'd like that, but it's never a song you know.
No, right.
I went out of my way, cause like growing up, I didn't mean to, like, I was a rollerblader and I was a skateboarder for many years and I was an aggressive inliner. So I was like always trying to kill myself on something. And like, so like when you get into that world, there's a lot of like underground hip hop, underground fucking rock bands and synth bands. It was like the start of like, it was like the Faint, I don't know, like soul, Aesop Rock, not Rocky, Aesop. Right. So when I heard about Rocky, I'm like, what did he change his name? I was like so confused.
It was quite different, yes.
Yeah, it's quite different music.
I think of like Sublime and The Offspring and all these groups that I grew up with. I was a skater.
Same. We were listening to Offspring on the car back. I think the self-titled album. Okay. Yeah. And I forgot how much that album changed my life because like it allowed like art to not take itself so seriously. And the biggest reason I don't write is because half the time I'm just like, oh, gross. Like I can't. I'm like, this is too silly. It's too silly. And then like here you have the Offspring who like even like a song like.
I was like, you know, that alone was
like, oh my God. And even like he wrote like that beautiful song Gone Away about like his girlfriend that died and like it broke my heart. I was like, Jesus. But even like that song, it's like you said, it's not like to a dark tone. It's a dark message, but like not said darkly and not to a dark tone. And I feel like that's always like the cool contrast. That's like anything unique. Like I think the formula to make something cool and true, obviously follow your heart, but also like take something true and don't follow the stereotypes of it. Like, because it's usually like the antithesis of it that makes it unique. It's like, you know, like growing up like as like a white Spanish guy in Texas with like this hair. Like, sure, there's like some like, oh, your hair looks like pubes here and there. But like, for the most part, like, you know, you expect the formula to be like oppression or like racism or not accepting. But like, it wasn't because like, at least for my group, like we were all hated by cops. We all looked like degenerate stoners and the cops like were paranoid neighborhood cops. They thought they had like me on a board with like actual string, like for real. Like they had this, they thought I was like this crazy drug lord because I had a bunch of friends who like came from shitty homes. Oh, wow. And like there was no like, it was kind of like the army, but it was like the Warriors too. it was like we all came from broken homes. Like we had different fucking genders, we had different ethnicities, but like nothing was ever like off topic, nothing was ever taboo. Everything was talked about open, whether it was like comfortable humor, whether it was offensive humor, whether like you could offend someone in the room. Like it was always like a safe space, as long as like the unanimous vote was like everything is said from a good place. There's no like ill intent. And when there's like no ill intent and no ugliness, like there should then be a safe space to like be able to talk. And like I think music is one of the and comedy to an extent, even though it's persecuted, is like those kind of places where you can still be honest like that. Well, for music, a lot of people sometimes don't even hear it. Like if you're not listening to lyrics, you might, if you're only listening to the tone, you could feel like the music, but like you might not really hear what like that artist is saying, which is like a big thing I love doing with lyrics. I love dissecting them because I'm like, what made you say that? And like I relate to this so well. Like where did that come from? And then like some people are like, oh, I don't even know what he's fucking saying. I just like the sound. And I respect that too. But like for me, like it's that storyteller in me, like you said. Like my music now is more music. My music back then when I thought I was a writer was very like folky. And I guess it still kind of is. And that's inspiration.
Yeah, I love the contrast of stuff too. And for me growing up, I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and I was a skater back in the 70s and 80s. We had groups like the Pixies, and they did the whole loud soft thing, which Nirvana did that. Which shows like Teen Spirit is literally a descendant from the Pixies. I mean, like that song is like loud, big, soft moment, loud, big. And I did a song like that recently that's going to come out next year called Lost and Found. We kind of took that whole loud, soft thing. I love that. It's such a contrast, like cheese and crackers.
I love.
There were groups that did things. I remember there was a song that I like that where, like you said again, it's that the music is the lyrics are deep, but the music's something that's just very like, oh, it's bouncy, and it's like you're like, okay, it's interesting. Like they're just kind of like talking along, and I love, and of course I was at the birthplace of rap. So when rap came out, they had these beats, but they were talking about serious shit that was going on in the neighborhood. And again, you have to listen to it kind of to get it. But it's like, it's like that by Run DMC. They were talking about some stuff that was going on, but the song was so catchy and the beat was so good. You just
it's kind of hard to hear.
Right. You just want to dance it. I mean, like, it's like kind of like you just want to dance to it. And, so I kind of, and of course I come from hippies. My parents were hippies. I grew up with Peter, Paul, and Mary, and Donovan, and Joan Baez, and James Taylor.
My girl's mom loves those two. Those are like her two favorites.
She loved Bob Dylan, Crosby, Stills, Nash. I mean, she loved all that. And my last album that came out, I was really influenced by, I was listening to a lot of late 60s, early 70s music, like early Linda Ronstadt, early Eagles, early Chicago. I was listening to all that stuff. And it was an influence. Some of my songs are very 70s-esque because I was listening to Neil Young and I was listening to the song Old Man. I was like, I can relate. I'm older now. I can relate to that song. And, it's like that kind of, so it just all kind of.
Especially the message of that song. Oh, my God. To say it from the perspective of an old man who's like trying to give that advice, that made me hear that advice that like 50 old people told me that I didn't listen to. That song alone. Like 50 people told me that in so many ways, but no one sang it to me.
Right. So I was like, it's. I mean, so I was listening to a lot of that stuff, listening to a lot of Donovan and Carole King, and so I was like, and they're all storytellers. They're all telling stories. Such a great music. I mean, great music and stuff. And some of them were doing drugs at the time, and some weren't, and whatever. But the creativity came out, and I thought that's what I'm feeling. And sometimes I love contrast. I love things that like I said. I have songs that are out that are very bouncy and upbeat, but there's a message in there if you really listen to it. There's like I'm saying something. I'm saying something. But doing this Vex project and another project I worked on to write specifically for something, it's very interesting to do. I didn't know I was going to be able to come up with all those songs. I just, because I didn't know it was going to happen. I thought I'm just going to try and see what happens. Because it's a different part of your brain you're using. You're not.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. There's a marriage of left and right. They have to work together, which is weird. I like to keep them very segregated. Yeah.
Over there.
Yeah.
Over there.
Like they have to like meet, and like I guess in a perfect world I'd love for them to like come together and join as a union, but they're always at odds, man.
I kind of like it though.
I love it. I love it.
I like it.
I'm starting to. I should say, like, only this year have I really like grown as a person. Like, I bought today. I'm not like it's like right there, the empty container. I bought mint chocolate chip, which I used to profoundly hate because I was like, why the fuck would I want to eat chocolate after brushing my teeth? That's what that
how
is.
funny is that? Okay.
And now I feel like I'm pregnant with like creative or this new, like, I feel like the Phoenix. Like I like the old me that was very like in the system, tried to do the 9 to 5, all that is like dead and gone. And like this new person who's like an open hippie and loves contrast. Like now everything I used to like not like, I like love now. And I think the reason is like my goal in life was always to not hate fucking anything. Like, of course there has to be exception, but like to try to just like be able to like most things, if not everything, or at least can tolerate it, whether it be food, religious perspectives, annoying fucking people, you know. And yeah, it really, like, when you start seeing, like, when you start accepting the contrast and not starting to pigeonhole yourself on one side of the battlefield or the other, it really is that partnership. Like you said, talk about a partnership with other people. You can't start that until you have that with yourself. And it is those like odds, like those meetings of like those two worlds having to come together. And like, it starts in you, which is weird because it's the hardest fucking battle by a lot.
And I'm going to end the show on that. That's a good way to end the show. It's really good. I love you, my friend. You know that. I
love you too, sir. Like, not only do I feel like we are spiritual brothers, like all the music you named, it was just like, oh my God, like how are we the same age? Even though like you grew up in the 70s and 80s, and you just named every band I grew up with. So
we oddly have a lot in common. Serious. You said stuff today. I'm like, I totally agree with them, and I'm 51 years old. So I'm like, I agree with what you're saying.
Wow. You are both wise as your age indicates, and also very young for your age. You have that youth, which is...
No, thank you. Just kidding. No, thank you. No, seriously, thank you for saying that. I mean, I try to stay youthful. I think, you know, age is a number and a construct. It is a construct, but it also...
It is oh God, you're speaking my language, sir.
I know.
Yeah. And not only that, age brings wisdom when you keep that youth, because that youth is curious and wants to learn new things. Once you're old and bitter and be like, everything fucking sucks, the kids these days and their hip hop, like then you're just like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, the best, and I'll end with this. One of my friends who starred in that classic movie Break-In, Shabadoo Quinones, who's a friend of mine. He's 62 years old, 63. And someone said, "How are you still dancing?" And he said, "I remind myself that I'm still that young boy who loved to dance."
Oh, that's beautiful, man.
That was it. Seriously, that was it. Obviously, there's technique and stuff and all that kind of crap, whatever.
Sure, of course.
Right, yeah, but he said it on my show.
But he enjoys it, which I think is like the number one. Yeah, you can't master anything you don't like. Not really.
Right. But he said what you just said. He remembers the small boy who loved dancing. That's how he keeps dancing.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah, and that's always beautiful also. I'll take it. Folks, Twitter pages with James Lott Jr. You can follow me everywhere on the universe. James Lott Jr., of course, the show is everywhere. Ryan Shaw, where can they find you on the social medias?
You can find me on Instagram through my management. I don't have an Instagram, speaking of bad fans.
Yeah.
So look on at Avenue B Talent on Instagram, or find me by typing my name, Ryan M. Shaw, or find me musically through Harlan Shaw on the interweb.
Yep, can do that. And follow me at James Lott Jr. everywhere. My music is everywhere. Music is streaming. I have a SoundCloud page, James Lott Jr. Go there to get listen to all my songs and see what I'm doing on there. All even those little 1-minute songs, they're all on there. I posted them. See what you think. I know it's kind of crazy. I can't write songs every day. Anyway, so folks, thank you so much for listening and watching, and we'll see you next time. And go find some new music.